Hello YouTubers. Sometimes I hate being right. After this video, hopefully you'll see that I've been right the whole time on China. See, when the trade war started, I realized something few realized at the time, that in the near future, probably around the time of the elections, there would be a major economic crisis and a major confrontation with China. Remember that most were enamored with China at the time. It's a different culture. They lifted themselves out of poverty, and so on. I knew it was all BS, of course, but sometimes you have to tell people what they want to hear to serve a greater good. People know this just from simple life experiences. For example, if your pregnant wife asks, "These pants make me look fat," how would you respond? I knew there would come a time when people would be more receptive to the message, so my earlier videos did not criticize China like these later videos have. But even without criticism, I warned that war with China is practically inevitable, clearly warned of the dangers that China poses, a threat that is far greater as of today. In short, I was doing exactly as the Bible says, that there's a time and place for everything, that there's a time for silence and a time for speak. Today, China has announced what amounts to a nuclear attack on our economy. They have announced that they are starting to sell off United States debt. Keep in mind, this didn't happen during normal times, but as a pandemic that originated from their nation damaged our economy. I've included a couple of clips to give you the story with a link to the full video in the description box. But keep in mind, I told you the exact same thing back when the trade war first started. Check out my old videos about China and see for yourself.
Story that could send literal shockwaves through the global economy. According to the Chinese news agency, China is going to begin recalling or selling off the U.S. debt that it controls. Now, this, by the way, would be a very poignant message that it's sending about the U.S. economy, both from a pragmatic standpoint and from a psychological standpoint as well. The message that it would be sending to the rest of the world. China owns more of our debt in the United States than just about any country in the world. So why would they be doing this, right? Well, think about it. It's good enough to join us live to take us through this. He's going to be joined by George Galloway. So what we're doing with both of these guests is we're offering you the business perspective and the political implications of this story. Ben, I want to begin with you. Look, I just called around some of my sources, and when I asked them why China was doing this, what they told me is that China is tired of seeing the dollar as the world's only currency, and that this is just the beginning of them, China that is, creating or competing and making their own currency at some point in the future. Can you confirm that and explain that to us?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. The one thing I would push back on is the fact that they said this is the beginning. I think you can go back 5 years, 6 years, and say the beginning really began when China, Russia, India, and South Africa began working together as BRICS, and Brazil began working together as the BRICS nations. That was the real first move, I think, to say we're going to get rid of the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. China doesn't like it, and other nations don't either, because it puts them in a politically disadvantageous position and economically disadvantageous position. And so what we're seeing right now is the continuation of that effort, and certainly China is not going to hold U.S. debt forever. They're going to sell it off when they can. As we mentioned in the piece, in the past they've done this, but never to the extent that they're pushing for it now, and certainly not at a time when the U.S. is doing so much to devalue its own currency.
You know,
that's all the time I have for now. If you like this video, please show your support by subscribing. Thanks for your time.